And we're back. The state of play is behind us, and it's now time to go back to our regular schedule. And we won Hockenheim last time, and now I guess it's time to see if we're going to go 2 in a row here at Budapest, a track that I guess in the modern games has been my Achilles heel, but not so much in the older games. But who knows? Maybe I'm probably going to have a little bit more of a challenge. There's only, outside of this, there's only 5 races left, and if we were using the point system that they used in 1999, we would have won the championship already. But we're still using the 2014 one, which is the modern one plus the double points for the final race, or at least I don't know if it actually still does, even with a much more shorter season, but who knows? I guess we will see once we actually get at the Japanese Grand Prix, but still plenty of time before that. So, with all that being said, see you in qualifying, folks. And starting 6th, and yet again the best of the best of the rest. Okay, so 2-stop strategy. Yeah, 2-stop strategy. No rain, so let's get on track. And it's 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4, 5, and off of Budapest. Okay, oh, okay, really good start. We're already side by side with Coulthard. There's, I don't know, I think it's Jordan Stamonhill. Contact with Hakkinen. As Irvine takes the lead, we go past Schumacher. Hakkinen is second, third is Coulthard, and fourth is ourselves. And there we go, restart. And it's 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4, 5. And we're off at Budapest. Okay. Okay, start as Coulthard goes past Hakkinen. Here comes turn 1, easy, contact with Coulthard, no damage, surprisingly. As we are now in 5th, Irvine looks like he took the lead. We are glued to the rear of a Häkkinen into the first couple of corners. Of course, there's a very difficult track to overtake at. Hey! Thought the car actually slide there. Hey! Yeah, no, that was... Never mind. We're still glued to Häkkinen. More contact. And we. Alright, we're past. Yeah, I have no idea what kind of move that was from Häkkinen, but we're through. As Zanardi is glued to our rear. Which is, of course, highly unrealistic considering the kind of season that he had in 1999, but okay. I mean, it's also highly unrealistic that a Stewart is actually battling for the championship, but whatever. And that was lap number 1. As 2 Ferraris are pulling away. But yeah, the state of play. I said my feelings about the stream yesterday, but to quickly recap them, it was a very solid state of play, even better than I thought. Well, it's true that I didn't have any expectations coming out of this, coming out of that, and but still, I was left genuinely impressed, and of course, the biggest bombshell of them all had to be the fact that Dead or Alive is actually alive and well. And not only they're bringing back DOA 6 from the dead, but they're making a brand new game for the 30th anniversary. And of course, they're a big bombshell that they're remaking God of War 1, 2, and 3. And it was a nice detail to call the original voice actor of Kratos to announce that those games are going to be remade, as well as the new game, which is yet another God of War prequel, because God of War, if you don't know, absolutely loves prequels. And another thing that I also said in that video is that I am genuinely surprised by just how close Christopher Judge and T.C. Carson, the voice actors of Kratos post God of War 3 and of the original trilogy, sounded like. Honestly, I generally thought that Judge actually voiced Kratos for all the games. But turns out I was wrong. They just sound very similar. They sound very similar. So, yes, there's still a very solid state of play. Anyway.
Lap times are looking good.
In the meantime, can I... Is this a potential move on Coulthard? I want to say yes. Whatever. That was an attempt, but okay. And speaking of Formula 1, I am aware of preseason testing, but I am not going to talk about that because now it says that Red Bull might be the team to beat, and that Aston Martin are in Aston Martin with troubles with Honda with the power unit. But of course, we will know for certain until the second race of the season, because Australia isn't usually the race that dictates how the season is going to go. But yes, I've seen some comments by Verstappen saying that the cars this year basically suck, and that apparently
The car ahead has posted a lap time in the high minute 24 range. High 24.
so basically around our times. And that the cars suck, and that apparently in the middle of the corner they go. Even during pre-season testing, Norris and Leclerc at turn 12, despite being flat out, they were slower than a Formula 3 car. But outside of that, yeah, I've completely ignored all pre-season testing. Okay.
This is exactly what we need. Push, push.
Jesus, the tires already fucking shot. Holy, hey! Holy shit, the tires already shot. Yesterday I downloaded through those methods F1 Challenge 9902, and outside of doing some hot laps, I was looking to do a race because you know, I want to do a series on that game. Actually, before doing that, I installed the 1995 mod and some tracks, and well, they worked fine on test on free practice. Well, free practice on test day. When I decided it was race time, the game just crashed. And not just with the modded tracks, even with the tracks that came with the mod, though they just crashed. They finished loading and then the game would close. So I guess that puts a spanner in my plans.
Pace is good. Pace is good.
I'll try and see if I can join the F1 Challenge online Discord server to get a recent version of the game, because the one that I got was from 2021. But I guess right now plans for any potential series on F1 Challenge are out of the question. At least not until I can find a working game. So I'm genuinely fucking shocked by just how... Was this a thing even in the... I mean, I will find soon enough once we have the race here with the Fantasy Super mod. But still...
Try to keep this pace. This is what
Is
we
it
need.
normal for... maybe it's just the mod, but... But is it normal in the vanilla game for Budapest to be this rough on the tires? I mean, right now, I'm thinking, oh, it's because of the mod. But yeah, I don't think these tires are going to last until lap 11. But yeah, surprised Zanardi is still in 5th. I mean, not exactly surprising considering this is not a track famous for overtakes. But still. Zanardi wish he could have killed for his role like this in the real season. But yeah,
Great pace. Keep this focus.
these tires are not going to last until lap 11. I can tell. I tell you that. If the HUD comes up saying, or the MFD.
Okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running full revs, maximum power.
If the MFD comes up and says, no, the tires are dying, I'm immediately pitting.
Overtake. Go for the overtake.
Yeah, I wasn't willing to risk it. I don't remember the tires being this badly beaten in 1998. But, yeah, this is actually shocking. And yes, I know there's some NASCAR stuff to talk about, but
Hey, you're in his dirty air. You've lost some front end grip.
I'm going to wait until the first pit stop to talk about that.
Good pace. Carry on with the job you're doing.
Okay. One thing that I will say is that apparently Alpine are going to leave the WEC at the end of the year, which not surprising. I'm willing to bet the reason is because they want to focus on the Formula One project. I mean, that's why Renault left Formula E and left Dams at the ends of Nissan, because they wanted to focus on Formula One. Then, well, it failed, but still, that's probably the reason why. Well, it's also yep, never mind. You know what, screw it. I'll try and last one more lap. Oh, and I guess another topic that has been discussed lately is stuff for wish lists for F127. Since F126 is going to be a DLC, people are focusing on F127.
Window is open. Box it.
And yeah, I'm going to focus on that once I'm after the first pit stop is done. In the meantime, I should be focusing on not having any of my tires die. Shit.
Good pace. Keep pushing.
Whatever you say, Jeff. Yay. That felt terrible.
Okay, it looks like the car ahead is trying to create a gap. He's running full revs, maximum power.
Okay.
Remember to pit this lap.
And into the pits we go. Coulthard decides to continue. And one of the Ferraris, I don't know which one. So he mixing that Schumacher. And back out he goes. New tires. There we go. Right in front of Zanardi. As through goes Rubens.
Watch out for traffic as you rejoin the track.
Alright. And we rejoin right in front of Wurz.
One stop to go.
And Lucas, since Zanardi pitted. Alright, now, first, the F127 stuff.
Slower. We're gonna need you to build a gap if you
I've seen only 2 videos of F127 wish lists, and one of the things that I've gathered from those videos that people really want are pit lane starts, to which, yeah, that actually makes a ton of sense. The game has grid draw penalties. Why couldn't they have pit lane starts? That's that honestly should be a thing. I mean, and that would be like what, the first game that actually does it, because no game has ever done it. So that would actually be something that would be actually something new that no one has ever done. Well, outside of simulators and all that bullshit, but I mean in games that are not R-Factor, sort of course, iRacing, that stuff. In the meantime, we did manage to jump Coulthard. Wait, that was a bit of a lag spike there, but okay. Another thing that I've seen that people, I mean, most of the wish lists are usually the same thing. Tend to share the same stuff, like more creative liberty, more creative freedom with the delivery editors, the possibility of having actual sponsors and real life sponsors on the F1 World Car, as well as real sponsors in the helmet when switching over to teams. Then what? Of course, more freedom of customization for the helmets. Yeah, it's usually the same thing. For many lists tend to share stuff. There's those stuff, of course, improved AI.
likely to be running in fuel conservation mode. His times will be slightly slower than
There's also Formula 3, which honestly, yeah, it's been one of my requests for a very, very long while to have Formula 3 in the game. They could just sacrifice and if they're worried about space, I guess they could just sacrifice last year's Formula 2 and just wait
times are looking good.
and just add the current year of Formula 2. Of course, they're not going to do for 2026, but for 2027. So instead of having the 2027 cars and the 2026 F2 cars and later adding the 2027 F2 cars, why not just do the 2027 Formula 1 car, F1, F2, and even F3 cars? Of course, we begin with Formula 1 and add them later. But I guess I'm going to assume they're probably going to either upgrade the engine or switch over to Unreal. But at this point, I'm I'm too sure about them switching engines. I would love them to switch to Unreal. Also because modding would be done a little bit more easier than currently is with the Formula 1 games. But yeah, I would not be surprised if it ends up being an upgraded version of the Ego, which it still needs because the current engine has reached its limit. A lot of the bullshit that we've seen in later years is because yeah, the Ego simply has been pushed to its limits and cannot keep going like that. So if they're not gonna switch over to Unreal, at least let's hope for a brand new version of the engine. One thing that I've seen as an example from the Matt212 video is a database editor, which you can do in the older F1 games. The database editor, basically what it does is that it allows you to change things like, countries of the drivers. From one example would be, the Formula F1 2014 Fantasy Super League, which has changed the nationality of the drivers to match the actual nationalities of my characters. Or over the other channel with Formula AS Reborn. But this time, instead of modifying the game files, it's actually in the game. Database editor being honestly, I would kind of agree to the idea because with a database editor, you can force Java transfers, and in all the careers that I've done on this channel, from F1 2021 to F1 25, excluding F1 24, which I never finished, I don't think I've seen any driver transfer. How they started in Season 1, they started in Season 2. Same team combinations and everything.
Likely to be running in fuel conservation mode. His times will be slightly slower than normal.
But unfortunately, they will never do it for one simple reason, and that is there's the chance it could potentially hurt sales of the next game if they allow people to change the where the drivers are driving, the team rosters like that. So I doubt that will be ever included. Hey. And another request wish list that I've seen from another video is put at least one icon from the 50s to this day. And also they got me thinking on what they could add as icons. Very quickly, I'm going to stick with just one driver per era, per decade, and for the 50s, it's gotta be Fangio. Like, come on, the winningest driver in the 50 and holder for most championships until the man in front of me and another British dude surpassed them. For the 60s. I mean, the 60s, there's plenty of good candidates, but I decided that I went for Jim Clark because it makes the most sense out of all the drivers from the 60s. Jim Clark makes sense, and yeah, the tires are still dead again. For the 70s, I want to say Niki Lauda for obvious reasons. I mean, I guess technically Ronnie Peterson could also be included, but the most logical choice would be Niki Lauda. For the 80s, that would be Senna. Again, one driver. If there was multiple, then yeah, it would be Senna and Prost. And what? For the 90s, oh god, for the 90s, I mean, there's only two realistic picks that you could make. Well, three technically. But for this one, I stuck with Damon Hill. And I know somebody might be saying Damon Hill over Nigel Mansell or Mika Hakkinen, but hear me out. I put Damon over all these guys because outside of the name, Damon was basically Britain's last hope for Formula 1 for a couple of years before Lewis Hamilton came in. And not to mention that he basically had to almost carried Williams to a title in 1994 after Senna's demise. So it would make sense for him to be the representative of the 90s. For the 2000s, again, the 90s still has a lot of good people. Hakkinen again, Michael Schumacher, Nigel Mansell, Alan Prost will be more 80s than 90s. But realistically, it will be Damon Hill. Because of the 2000s, will be Michael Schumacher. Come on, it's gotta be Michael for the 2000s. For the 2010s. Oh god, for the 2010s, I mean, if there's, I want to say, oh god, well, for the 2010s, it's gotta be Vettel, actually. For the 2010s, it's gotta be Vettel because Hamilton is still driving around, so for the 2010s, it's gotta be Vettel. So, yeah, that's my, how can I say this, concept list of a concept. Concept of a concept. So, Fangio for the 50s, Clark for the 60s, Lauda for the 70s, Senna for the 80s, Hill for the 90s, Schumacher for the 2000s, and Vettel for the 2010s. But, and of course, the other big thing that it usually shared from videos to videos is, the return of classic cars and the return of classic tracks. To which, it's, of course, licensing are a bitch to deal with. So, of course, that's very hard to. That's always the licensing are always this big ass iceberg that they will have to face. And I know somebody's going to say it's EA. They've got money coming out of their asses. What the fuck they can figure out the licensing? I guess because Formula 1 is a hell of a lot more stringent than something like MotoGP. MotoGP and Dorna, should I say more, is pretty lenient on the historical stuff in relation for the games, at least until 1992, because I guess that's when they got Dorna bought the rights to the whole series to MotoGP. But yeah, Formula 1 tends to be a lot more stringent. Not to mention that they'll have to call, all the companies that were involved, that were sponsoring the cars, the owners of the owners of the IPs for teams that don't exist anymore. Like, for example, who owns the Hours IP? Who owns the Minardi IP? Well, I want to say Paul Stoddart, but actually Minardi who would I have to ask to get the licensing for Minardi? Giancarlo Minardi or Paul Stoddard? Because, hey. Okay, I need to pit on the next lap. But yeah, those are always gonna be a problem. As for my list, in all fairness, I just want Formula 3 because at this point I've given up on the dream of seeing the 2020 emergency races. I've given up on that dream a long time ago. So at this point, the only thing that I want is, well, two things: engines rich and Formula 3 cars. That's it.
Be aware, we think the car behind is trying to save fuel.
In the meantime, we have to pit,
Stopping this lap.
and I'm gonna talk about the Daytona stuff after pitting.
The car ahead has posted a lap time in the high minute 24 range, high 24.
Shite. Jesus Christ. Oh god. Oh fuck! I thought the car was snapping. Okay, easy, easy, Jesus. Okay, just a couple of corners. We're there, we're there, we're there. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell I would have done if this still was F1 2013. Shit, God. Okay, through goes Coulthard. Ah, we're there. Whew, Jesus. Okay.
Complete, go now.
And we are going to rejoin just behind Schumacher and ahead of Zanardi in the pits, but on track.
Join the track is clear.
Yep, ahead of Zanardi. Okay.
You have no more scheduled pit stops, so look after your tyres.
But yeah, as for Daytona, Daytona 500, or rather duels, yeah, shit happened. Okay. For the ones who don't know how qualifying for the Daytona 500 works, there's a qualifying session, there's a normal qualifying session, and then after that, they do a two 125-mile races, which are called the duels, where they what's the term? Where they decide how the cars are going to line up. Qualifying, in fact, qualifying is not for the except for the front row. Qualifying qualifying is not actually for the event itself. The qualifying is for the duels.
Period between stops.
But except the top two will be the top two at the main event. At the duels, they decide who's gonna start at the inside lane, and the other duel is for the outside lane. Duel 1 is for the inside, and duel 2 is for the outside. So duel 1 is to decide it's gonna start in 3rd, 5th, 7th, all that. While duel 2 is to decide if it starts 4th, 6th, that. And then after that we got the Daytona 500, which is 200 laps. And if you don't,
Car ahead is running standard revs. Standard revs.
and what happened is that Casey Mears, of all goddamn people, well, first and foremost, yeah, Casey Mears is in the main show. A guy that hasn't driven in NASCAR full time in a little while. And another big shocker is that BJ McLeod will be at the main event through disqualification of Anthony Alfredo because of some loose parts in the car. But yeah, but the biggest story is of course Casey Mears will be at Daytona 500, which of course begs the question of a question that a guy I know asked, and asked the same thing in relation to Shane Van Gisbergen dominating so much at the road courses last year. Either Casey Mears still has it, despite not having driven full-time in NASCAR in the Cup Series for a very long time, or everybody sucks so fucking much that... ooh, okay. Damon, fast lap of the race. Trying to prove to the world that he's not dead. Kind of. I mean, he's dead inside. I mean, he's been dead inside ever since the... the switch over to... ever since he decided to... Okay. Order has been restored to the world.
Excellent work. Try to keep this pace. This is what we need right now.
But yeah, as I was saying, either Mears still has it, despite not racing in the Cup Series only full time in a very good while. He did some starts, but of course, I mean full time. He hasn't started full time in a very long while. Or the current crop of drivers are so goddamn bad that for somebody like Casey Mears to qualify was pretty easy. But yeah, oh, and Chase Elliott won Duel 1 and Joe Logano won Duel 2. And of course Kyle Busch won pole, so he's going to start for the Daytona 500. And I've seen some people say that this could potentially be Kyle Busch's year to win the Daytona 500, but I've seen a lot of people saying, yeah, I mean, this is the Daytona 500 of the next gen era. Even the guy from Bumfuck Last has a shot at winning it. Starting on pole position, it doesn't matter. Like Kyle Busch could be starting on pole position and never lead a single lap. So, yeah. But all in all, I've seen a lot of people being, despite this, I've seen a lot more people being a little more hyped for the Daytona 500 than in previous years. But I'm going to guess it's probably because of the fact of the win in Uranus is gone. They brought back the chase system for the playoffs. So for this purposes, who wins the Daytona 500 doesn't mean now they cannot give a shit for the rest of the season. But yeah, let's see what's going to happen at the actual race.
The car behind is on standard revs. Car behind is running standard revs.
Okay. Yeah, at this point I think we're going to start for third, which is still a good result, all things considered.
Pace. Keep this focus.
Okay, 7 to go.
Pushing the car ahead by around half a second a lap.
And yeah, that's all the topics I want to talk about. Oh, and yeah, actually, tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Sorry for the sudden outburst of sadness for everybody who's single. I mean, I myself am single, so yeah, I I don't even know why I even mentioned it. I guess I just needed to. I apologize. I guess I just need people. I just wanted to make people suffer, which also counts myself. But yeah, whatever. Okay, in any case, 6 to go. Coulthard is 2 seconds behind. And I know somebody is probably going to scream at me, just turn on fucking Rich Mix, but I don't really care. I mean, okay, Michael's one of my championship rivals, but he's not gonna gain that much on me anyway, since I'm literally just right behind him. So, and well, never mind. I guess he just listened to me. Well, I guess this is gonna be considered commentator's curse. If anything, I think it should be called the commentator's luck. Because the moment I started talking about this, boom, Schumacher made a mistake. But yeah, yeah, I'm not even going to check for Irvine. Schumacher is my championship rival, so yeah. Irvine can have it, I don't care. And I believe next up should be Belgium. So, yeah.
Watch out for the car behind. He's only 2 seconds down on you. He might try and overtake if you make a mistake. Be aware, we think the car behind is trying to save fuel.
Well, that solves a problem. Actually solves many problems, but whatever. Actually, this morning, I stumbled after a few years in the GP4 offline championship. It's exactly what it says in the tin. It's an offline championship with Grand Prix 4, and some of my older friends, when I had my first YouTube channel, are involved in the project. For example, Joseph Willows was, now you may know him as JW Talks Motorsports, was I believe was a competitor, and he was an editor because he said it on his Twitter bio, and I believe he was also a painter. For example, he painted the Toyota for the 2023 season, and I don't know if he ran races, but I would not be surprised if he did too. And there's also George Roque, Stato 300, which again he was one. It was part of the I guess I should call them the group, the Grand Prix 4 group, where we were all obsessed with Grand Prix 4 and we were doing championships, and we were all getting involved in each other's stuff. It wasn't just Grand Prix 4 related. It was also the Codemasters games, the early Codemasters games before 2016, to make an example, before 2015 actually. I remember those two guys. Of course, there's also Laura Chung, who the NR guys following me might have heard of her. And the Grand Prix 4 group was me, Joseph Willows, George Roque, Matthew Allenton, who I don't know if he still owns a team in the GPVWC. I want to say yes, but who knows? He went for Smuggler's Button 4, but then moved over to Diagnosis Bananas. Then it was Yannick Verhagen, who you may know him as Grand Prix Yannick. He did Grand Prix Legends stuff, mainly. But he was also involved in Grand Prix 3 specifically. There was also... oh god, what's the name again? It's called Ambient Master. I don't remember the name. But the guy at a channel, Ambient Master, he used to do Grand Prix 4 Crash compilations. I was actually friends of him on Facebook, come to think of it. In fact, I was friends with all of them on Facebook. So, yeah, if any of these guys ever stumble upon this video, yeah, I am the guy that put pretty cute characters into your shit. And of course, this was also the period in which I was getting into My Little Pony. So, yeah, I was the guy that at one point I was entering streams and comment sections by saying, "Hi, every pony." But yeah, after that personal dive into memory lane, we're going not to take the white flag because it's Formula 1. We're going to start the final lap of the race. We're not gonna go 2 in a row, but it doesn't matter. We're still gonna gain on Michael Schumacher. Also, Verhagen had a team called WTF1, called YouTube F1 or YTF1, to which he later gave to Matthew Allenton, and he used the name to create his team in the GPVWC. That's Panis. Actually, I think Ambient Master was also called George. I don't remember his surname though. Oh god, I generally don't remember the fucking name, but yeah. In any case, hey, please, Pedro. Around the final corner, and we're going to finish the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2nd place.
Fantastic. 18 points.
And so, Irvine wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. 2nd is ourselves. 3rd is David Coulthard. And that is Michael Schumacher, Zanardi, Frenzen, Hill, Barrichello, Fisichella, and Alesi rounding up the top 10. Then Janae, Dennis, Panis, Vinna, De La Rosa, Badra, and Takagi all a lap down. Zonta is the last of the lead cars. He wins last car for the lead lap cars, while Takagi wins last car overall. And now the usual thing of getting the thumbnail and then seeing the championship standings. So see you in a bit, folks. Alright then. And so, we still lead the championship. Eddie Irvine is now in second. Michael Schumacher drops down to third. Coulthard is in fourth. Hakkinen is in fifth. And then it's Hill, Franzen, Lucas, Zonardi, Barrichello, Fisichella, Dennis, Alesi, Trulli, Wurz, and Panis rounding at the point scorers. As for the constructors, Ferrari still lead, second is Stewart, third is McLaren, fourth is Jordan, then is Williams, Benetton, Sauber, and Prost rounding at the point scorers, with Minardi, BAR, and Arrows still a 0. And with that, we're gonna end the video here. So, if you liked it, give it a like. If you see more content like this, hit subscribe and click the notification bell so you get it to the next video drops. And I have nothing else to say other than see you next video, everybody. This is Alpha, signing out.